everyone, I'm Laura with Tamer. Welcome to the channel. I would like to just start off saying that I am a little sick, so I apologize if I'm a little slow when it comes to talking in this video, but I'm going to try my best. Now, this video is, I'm going to be ranking my least favorite schools up to my favorite schools, and I really feel like the top 3 might surprise you guys a little bit, because I know it definitely surprised me, because a couple years ago, if you would have asked me, my answers to this question would have been totally different. But I've had the time recently to be able to quest decently up through a lot of the schools, and I think my choices are pretty valid, or at least for the way that I like to play the game. So let's hop into it. Starting off, the bottom of my list is Ice. And don't get me wrong, I love Ice. I love my Ice wizard. She's probably definitely one of my favorite designs of a lot of my wizards. She's very aesthetically pleasing, and so is the School of Ice in general. But I think a lot of us can agree when we say that Ice as a whole just is very, very hard for soloing PvE. Which I get that the whole point of it is that it is a support school, that is a tank, but it's also just really extremely difficult to play. Most of the spells that you get for Ice just don't do enough damage to like sustain you through, considering your 4-pip AoE and Frost Giant. They just don't really do a lot or like what you need them to. They could definitely use some kind of buff or some kind of rework. Same thing goes for a lot of other Ice spells, especially their Shadow Pip spells. Just playing Ice as a whole is a struggle and just really hard to do. I personally enjoy getting on and playing sometimes, but I got to level 38 on here to get my Ice Blade, and I haven't touched it since. I really hope to get back into playing her soon, though, because I do enjoy it for the most part. I love all of the schools, in all honesty, but Ice is probably definitely my bottom tier school just because of how extremely difficult it is to play and just how mundane and how long it takes. But yeah, let's hop over to number 6. At number 6, we have Fire, and I love Fire. It's actually my second highest leveled character on this account, but after I've been playing it for a while, and considering it is my second highest character, I would like to say that the difficulty for playing Fire is honestly kind of up there as well. They just don't do as much damage as Storm does, which means that they don't kill as quickly as Storm does, which they do still kill pretty quick, but they don't kill as quickly, and their health is still low. It's not as low as Storm's, but it's still decently low. I'm still working on my stats to try to get them a little higher, trying to get my damage up a little bit more, so maybe I can kill quicker than I initially wanted to, but just playing it in later worlds, let's say the first arc was pretty simple on my Fire. I got through it pretty fast, especially getting Meteor Strike at such a low level. But after getting into the higher levels and going through Zafaria, Avalon, Celestia, Azteca, which is where I'm at right now, those worlds really started getting a lot more extremely difficult to play on my Fire. I'm in Azteca right now, and it's taking me, I have to get on at least once a day and try questing up, and it's still taking me a really long time, which makes me super unexcited for Chrysalis, because I just know that it's probably not going to be very easy to play on my Fire. And that's kind of part of it. Fire is just not very easy to play in the second arc. I've heard from some other people who have played through the third arc, and I know that Fire gets a lot better after it gets to that point. And we all know Fire is a good school. It's a great damage dealing school, and it's a great school in general with their way of using DOTs and, you know, obviously Delia Falmea and just Fire in general. But just trying to quest the second arc has been extremely hard for me. And at the time being, I'm going to have to put Fire at number 6. Next up on our list at number 5 is Death. And my Death Wizard looks a little crazy without her robe on, but we're just going to ignore that fact. I love the Death School itself. I love the black and white colors and the creepy themes and all of that stuff. Like, it's probably definitely my second favorite aesthetic in the entire game. But the thing about it is it's just not my kind of playstyle. It's not the way that I like to play the game. It feels really just self-centered, which is the whole point of Death. It's the whole point of it is to be selfish, and that's just not something that I like doing. I like a school that can be versatile and can be played with by myself or in a team setting. So that's just kind of my take on it. There's nothing really else about it that I don't like besides that. It's just not my kind of playstyle. But besides that, I really do love and appreciate Death a lot. At number 4, we're actually tied with third place is Balance. And Balance is 100% one of my favorite schools in the game. It's definitely one of my favorite aesthetics. And as you guys all know, Krakatopia is one of my favorite worlds that Wizard has ever released. And I love, love, love Balance. I love the support aspect of Balance. And actually, this character has been completely solo, and I've soloed her all the way up to Dragonspire, which is another thing I really like about it. Like I was talking earlier about Death, Balance has the ability to be able to solo and to support because they're an awesome support school. But my thing with Balance, just like I said about Ice, their hit spells and their resources just aren't really strong enough to really keep pushing them forward as much as I would like them to. Things like Sandstorm have a really like low damage rate. Power Nova is actually pretty decent. So that's kind of good. And another thing about Balance too is there's no prism. That's always going to be an issue with Balance, is that there is no prism. So if you're fighting a Balance enemy, or you're doing things that require like a Balance solo boss, such as things in Chrysalis, then the Balance just really isn't viable like that. So that's the only reason Balance is in fourth. It's a really, really, really close to number 3. But that's just my take on Balance. It's actually probably one of my favorite schools, and it would be in top 3 if number 3 wasn't where it is. At number 3, we have Storm, and this may come as a surprise to a lot of you, especially if you have been watching me since the beginning, but over the course of me playing, this character has grown so much on me. She has given me a way to get so close to some of you guys as viewers, and just for that reason alone, she means a lot to me. But there's some other reasons that I really like Storm, and that's just gonna have to be the overall aesthetic of it. My favorite animal is sharks. I love sharks so, 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 so much, and Storm's all about that kind of thing. I also, my favorite color is purple. I have purple hair right now. My whole bedroom's like purple, so is my gaming setup. So, especially if I start doing face cam one day, you guys are gonna be able to see all my purple stuff. And Storm has just really, really grown on me as a school. And in the beginning, I am going to say it was extremely difficult to get started, and that might be a big reason as to why I didn't like it in the beginning. But since I've been playing and my damage has been getting really good, I really enjoy it, as well as it is also able to be played in a team setting a lot better than some of the other schools in this game, because it's always going to be a viable hitter. No matter what the circumstances, even if you have low damage, the spells just make up for those things in the long run. My only reasoning for putting it so low on my list is because the first one and two, they have a lot deeper meaning to me than Storm does, but I also just cannot stand the guy standing behind me. Helston Bellstrom will always be my least favorite teacher. No offense to any of you guys who love him and adore him and are Storm mains. I just I can't stand him, but you guys already all knew that. But anyways, yeah, that's my ranking for number 3, and that's probably a shocker, but I really do enjoy Storm, and it really has grown on me as a school. At number 2, we have Life. 2011, you have a young Laura first ever downloading Wizard101. She had just learned how to read, but she wasn't that good with big words, and she would call her dad in to come read certain parts that she couldn't read to do her quest line and just make progressions in the game. She got to level 42 as a life wizard before she stopped and made what she would be today as Laura Myth Tamer. So life has just always been a super duper deep school to me. It's always been super important to me, and it's how I got to where I am today. Without me having ever made a life wizard, I probably wouldn't have continued playing wizard as much as I have, and it would be my number 1 pick if it wasn't for my number 1 being what my number 1 is. But life will always be one of my favorite schools. I love how great they support, and I love how good they can stand on their own. And yes, back in the day, questing on a life was really monotonous and really hard and really difficult, but as the game progresses, I've learned that it's actually not that bad. It's not as hard to quest on it as I used to think it was. I love Forest Lord. I love every single spell animation for life. I really, really do. Well, minus Imp and Leprechaun, but it's all life is just probably the most nostalgic school for me in this game. Love Melinda Wu, love the aesthetic, love being able to heal, love being able to support, all of it. Everything about life is an A plus from me. So I mean that's really it. It's my most nostalgic school, and it's a school that I will always hold very, very, very dear to my heart. Alright, not a shocker to you guys at all by any means, but obviously my favorite school in this game is Myth. And it first started out when I was a little kid. I had made my life wizard and I loved playing it through, but I kept being really, really attracted to myth and just the idea of it, the aesthetic, all of it. Cyclops Lane was always my favorite as a kid. I loved playing it, so I'd make myth wizard after myth wizard after myth wizard, and I'd just delete them because I had my life and I kept playing on it. I ended up making my first ever Laura Myth Tamer around the time that my life was level 42. I played her for a while. I didn't really connect with her as much as I wanted to. So by the time my life, so I ended up deleting her, kept playing on my life, got her up to like level 84, I want to think. And I ended up making my official Lore Myth Tamer that you see right here today and questing her all the way up to level 150, which is, that's at least what I'm at right now. And without making her and without actually pursuing what I really wanted to, I would never be where I am today. I would not be right here with you guys. I would not have this channel, and I would not have made as many friends as I've made in this community as I have today with this character. She means more to me far beyond just being a Myth student and playing Myth on its own. It's just the fact that Myth will always hold that place in my heart. But getting into why I like Myth as far as gameplay itself is, I've mentioned this before, I just like how versatile it is. I like that it can play in a team setting, it can be solo, and it can literally just hold its own ground whenever it needs to. It might not be the best at damage, it might not be the best at supporting, it might not be the best at tanking, but it's evenly distributed amongst whoever I'm playing with and whichever kind of friend I just made. I can figure out how to make it work with whoever I'm playing with, and that's what I really like about her. And it's also just a really easy way to make friends and to make connections in this game is playing Myth. I know it's a school that a lot of people don't like, and that's a lot of reasons why I haven't been able to make friends in this game is because of the school too. But to me, Myth is just really, really, really important to me, and it's super deep in my heart. And it will always probably be my favorite school in this game. I love meeting other Myth Wizards on Discord or just throughout YouTube. Myth is my favorite school. But I would like to finish this video off just by saying that this is all my opinion. It's all how I feel personally about the schools. And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. If you guys want to leave in the comments your ranking of the 7, I would absolutely love to look at those and love to look at your reasonings. I love getting those kind of comments and hearing what you guys have to say and feedback on my things. Is there a reason I should like some of the other schools more? Do you guys have an argument as to why my rankings were off or whatever, but please also just understand that these are my opinions and my playstyle for the game. I personally prefer playing support schools over some of the more damage dealing schools, and I know that a lot of you guys prefer damage dealing over the support schools. So I just want to hear your feedback, and I just want to hear if you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye!